Ready to start. Okay. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for May 5th, 2020. Just closed here. Q's up 1.1%. Was up more, rallied up into resistance, the top of that previous rally, and then we got some news from a Fed spokesperson. SPY didn't rally quite as much about kind of expectations moving forward on the economy. Okay, and that erased at least the intraday move. Now the gap up still held, and this relative strength in the Qs we see continue. Okay, coming into today, the bias was neutral. Okay, as we were finishing the day here, we did get a bit of a rally. The move lower was not following through, and we were moving up, so we shifted away from the bearish bias, and then we were neutral coming into this morning. This morning we got a big gap up, and it was seeing follow through. Okay, and so as a result of that follow through, we were looking for potentially a bullish bias going into tomorrow. Now, this big bar that we got here does change the expectation for tomorrow, okay? Because what it reminds us is that really what we've been doing for this past week or so is kind of being stuck in this range bound, in this range here, right? As opposed to as we were moving up, right? As we were moving up, occasionally we would break the 20 MA, right, and then recover right above it. Now you can see the 20 MA is starting to flatten, and we spent more time above, below, above, below, and above. When you get something like that, whether it's the market or an individual name, it's telling you that it's become trendless, right? If we're going back and forth across the moving average, telling you we've become a bit trendless. And I think that's not that surprising or perplexing, because while we have a very bullish daily, as we've talked about how bullish this daily has been, the angle that it's been moving up is sustainable. We do have a weekly sell setup, right? Weekly looking bearish, especially on the SPY. SPY, that relative weakness gives us a more bearish looking picture, right? This is looking like potentially a lower high with the previous high being up at the top there. Okay, so with the SPY, with the daily and the weekly at odds, and now the hourly being a bit trendless here, especially on the SPY, that is going to put me neutral. Now, what is going to make all the difference for whether I go to bullish or bearish is underneath yesterday's low, bearish, above today's high, bullish, okay? Meaning that if we get above today's high, expect sell-offs to get bought. Underneath yesterday's low, expect the rallies to get sold, okay, to resume a downtrend. If besides the MA here, another way that we can kind of come to this designation of the hourly being trendless here is notice how when it was trending, right, you expect higher lows and higher highs. Now this higher high led to the pivot being broken, and then the lower low here got bought. So we weren't able to continue the higher highs and higher lows, and then lower lows were not leading to lower lows or lower highs either, right? So that you can look at it and just see that we weren't really going anywhere. We haven't gone anywhere basically for the past week, okay? So pretty trendless here on the Qs. On the hourly, daily still looks bullish. Weekly looks bearish. Okay, so we are seeing this kind of time frame conflict play out with some back and forth, with some kind of sideways, along with some volatility there. Okay, all right, so moving forward, that's going to be where our focus is. Okay, seeing if we break out of this range that we've put together, okay, and then that will guide us into our next bias. Okay, so we'll see. Neutral for me going into tomorrow until we break the range. All right, let's go over today's plays. First play for me was this PE. PE was a gap up. All right, gapping up. Has had a nice move on the daily. Shock value could have been better as far as the quality of this gap. All right, and then we played a 2-minute base breakout. That's what I played. You pulled back, put in a topping tail over the topping tail, right? Got triggered in, didn't make new highs, and then it stopped. Okay, so as soon as it took out 1022, that was the stop. We're out, and I didn't see it set up anything else from then on out. You can see it just was in a grind lower. That's fine. Took out the stop, didn't get to a target, right? Then we move on. There's no, oh, can we, it's at a lower price. Can we get it now? It's at support. Can we get it now? Right? There's no kind of bargaining or seeking kind of revenge on this just because. Didn't work. All right. And then we moved on, right? And then right as I was coming on the mic, this WRK almost snuck past me a second time. The first time I was watching it as it was setting up this base here. You see it kind of bounced a little bit, setting up a base. I was looking at it and I thought, and then it popped and I thought, oh, okay, it's going higher. Don't need to watch it anymore. Turned out to be breakout failure, and there it went. So very bearish right from the get-go, even though the market was moving higher. Okay, and then eventually we got this 5-minute to give us a nice sell setup here. Sell setup, it retraced, base a bit, and then in. Okay, and that was nice. Able to kind of stick with a runner there on that one on the WRK just until the end of the day there, right? So that's how I manage the runners, right? So when you got to play working, I think the first target was under the whole number. So once we broke 26, took a portion there, took another portion as we broke to 25.50, and then just hold the rest until end of the day. And so the market drop at the end helped on this for sure on this WRK, but decent enough gap. Didn't come from quite as much of a run up as I would have liked. It even came from a few red bars, but still professional because it is coming from the 20 MA, all right, and breaking some levels of support there. So hopefully you're able to kind of catch that WRK. I almost missed it myself. Even got in a little bit late just while I was kind of on the mic and going over what was kind of good at the time. Okay. All right. So, as we kind of expected, this earnings season has been all about the Qs and SPY, more so than individual names. We are able to find some. I think Sammy had a nice call on the Rambus this afternoon, and even though the market came in hard, this still closed up here at the top here. You can see basically no impact, even maybe that little bit of a blip you can attribute to the market. So we have been able to find some, but for the most part, things are moving with the market, even though typically at this time of the year, earnings is what dictates the move. So, the macro matters, I think, as much as I've ever seen it, even during during earnings season. So, that's why we've been spending more time focused on, what the market is doing, interpreting what is going on, and how that informs us as far as our bias going into the next day. Okay, so not an easy picture here on the Qs and SPY. And so we'll see if we get some kind of resolution in the days to come as far as, especially the SPY, very much range bound, hasn't really gone anywhere since the beginning of April. So you can see, going all the way back to, mid-April, we're still there. So SPY is yet to really participate as in the rally as much as the Qs has in the recovery. Okay, so we'll see. All right, going into tomorrow and the days to come. Hope you had a nice day today. I will talk to you tomorrow.